There's a shocking truth most of us never talk about. You're not lazy. You might actually be burned out. That feeling of heaviness, that fog in your mind, it's not a lack of willpower. It's burnout. Chapter 1. What is burnout? Burnout isn't just a bad day or a lazy afternoon. Burnout is a state of emotional, physical, and mental exhaustion that builds up over time when stress keeps piling up and you never fully recover. It's the feeling of waking up already tired, even after hours of sleep. It's that foggy mind that used to be sharp. It's the emotional emptiness where passion and even hope used to live. From the outside, burnout might look like laziness. You're not doing much. You're avoiding tasks. But on the inside, it's a very different experience. Burnout is like running on empty again and again with no fuel left in the tank. It's exhaustion, not apathy. It's depletion, not laziness. And most importantly, burnout develops slowly. It creepily shifts your energy, your drive, and even how you see yourself. Chapter 2. Why laziness and burnout get confused. Laziness is often characterized by a consistent lack of desire to exert effort. It's choosing comfort over work because you don't want to do it. Burnout, on the other hand, feels like you want to do it, but you just can't. You might desperately want to accomplish something, to get out of bed, to start that task, and still feel completely immobile. This is emotional exhaustion, not laziness. Here's a simple way to think about it. Laziness, I could do it, I just don't want to right now. Burnout, I want to do it, but something inside me freezes. Sometimes the worst part is the self-blame. You think, am I just lazy? Do I lack discipline? But if you were once motivated, passionate, and energetic, and suddenly you're not, that's a red flag for burnout. Chapter 3. Sign number 1. Feeling detached from everything. One of the earliest and most unsettling signs of burnout is a strange feeling of detachment. It feels like watching life happen from the outside, as if you're experiencing your own life on mute. Things that used to excite you feel distant or hollow. You might move through routines without connection, brushing your teeth, going to work, scrolling through your phone, all on autopilot. It's not just low motivation, it's emotional numbness, a disconnect from your own experiences. This detachment isn't laziness, it's a survival response. Your mind has shut down parts of itself because it has been under chronic pressure for too long. It's as if you're living life behind a pane of glass, and the glass feels heavier every day. Chapter 4. Sign number 2. You used to be motivated. Laziness tends to be fairly stable. If someone is lazy, they usually have been lazy for a long time. But burnout looks very different. Most people who experience burnout were once energetic, motivated, and engaged with life. They had goals, passions, and things they cared about deeply. But over time, that motivation fizzled. You might catch yourself thinking, I used to love doing this, but now even the thought drains me. That's a hallmark sign of burnout, not laziness, loss of motivation due to exhaustion. It's not that you don't care anymore. It's that your well of energy has dried up. Chapter 5. Sign number 3. You used to be passionate. Burnout doesn't just drain energy. It sucks the joy out of the things you used to love. Hobbies, interests, or even relationships that once lit you up now feel like chores or obligations. You might sit down to do something you are passionate about and find nothing. Nothing but emptiness. This doesn't mean you're lazy. It means your emotional battery is so low that even the things you love feel heavy. True laziness doesn't erase passion. Burnout does. Chapter 6. Sign number 4. Failure to recharge after rest. One key difference between burnout and laziness is how rest, real rest, affects you. If you're simply unmotivated, a good night's sleep or a weekend off might restore your energy. But with burnout, rest doesn't help the way it used to. You sleep for 8 hours, wake up exhausted. You take a break, still feel soaked in tiredness. It's as if your body and mind never get the chance to fully recover. That's not laziness. That's chronic exhaustion. Your energy doesn't come back by itself anymore. Your nervous system is stuck in drain mode. Chapter 7. Sign number 5. Self-care begins to slide. Burnout often appears in neglect, not because you don't care about yourself, but because even the simplest acts, brushing teeth, showering, making food, feel like heavy tasks. You might find yourself skipping meals, neglecting personal hygiene, dropping social plans, losing track of basic routines. Laziness doesn't usually show up this way because being lazy doesn't drain your capacity for self-care. Burnout does. Burnout eats up energy at the source, and self-care is one of the first areas where that loss shows. Chapter 8, Sign number 6. Changes happened gradually. One of the most critical pieces of evidence that what you're experiencing is burnout, and not laziness, is that it didn't hit you all at once. Instead, it crept in slowly, like water rising in a basement. At first, well, you were tired. Then you were more tired. Then you felt flat. Then you stopped feeling much at all. Burnout doesn't appear overnight. It shows up over time, insidiously and relentlessly, until suddenly you notice it's become your normal state. If you look back and realize there was a gradual shift in your energy, mood, and motivation, that's burnout. Chapter 9. What's really happening inside you? Inside your body and mind, burnout is not laziness, it's depletion. Your nervous system, your emotional regulation, your capacity for drive, they all have limits. Chronic stress pushes these systems beyond their capacity. Imagine carrying a backpack that gets heavier each day. At first it's manageable, but over time it becomes unbearable, and eventually you can hardly move. That's what burnout does. It reduces your ability to engage with life, not because you don't want to, but because your reserves have been drained past the point of recovery. Chapter 10. Why we judge ourselves. When you can't complete a task, we often blame ourselves. Why can't I just get on with it? Maybe I'm lazy. But burnout doesn't care about guilt or shame. It eats away at motivation, not because you're weak, but because your system is exhausted. We judge ourselves because society rewards constant productivity. We tell ourselves rest is for the weak. We confuse burnout with laziness because both look similar on the outside, but they are fundamentally different experiences. Chapter 11, How to Shift Out of Burnout. If you recognize these signs in yourself, pause and breathe. This is not a moral failure. This is not a character flaw. Burnout is a signal, an urgent message from your body and mind that they have been pushed beyond their limits. The first step is acknowledgement. Stop telling yourself you're lazy. Your experience deserves validation and care. The second step is rest that truly restores. Rest isn't a luxury, it's part of recovery. And the third step is boundaries. Learning to say no without guilt. Learning to protect your energy as if your life depends on it. Because it does. Burnout can heal, but it requires patience, intention, and compassion, especially toward yourself. Chapter 12. Final thoughts. You are not lazy. You are not weak. What you're experiencing is your body and mind asking, no, pleading for care. Burnout is real. It's depleted energy, emotional exhaustion, and a system pushed to its limit. But once recognized, once understood, it becomes something you can work through step by step. Remember, laziness doesn't drain your passion. Burnout does. And now that you know the difference, you have the power to treat yourself with the compassion and understanding you deserve. Thank you for watching. Please drop a comment with your thoughts.